source for all the latest news on the City of Thompson. Only on 102.9 CHTM, your radio station.
Good morning and welcome to City Beat. My guest this morning is Deputy Mayor Kathy Valentino. Welcome.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Now, City Council last Monday was quite the exciting event. The big thing was the Grant and Lieu Committee after Mayor Fenske recused himself. And since he's recused himself from all discussions on the topic and isn't allowed in chambers during that time, you get his big seat during everything to do with that. Is it challenging switching into that role?
Challenging, yep. It's a little bit intimidating, I guess. I'm new to it, so process and protocol is lots to learn to do that, but it's okay. I got a good council that's in front of me and good administration.
And going off that, there's lots to learn. One of the things we were talking about before is the rules and stuff like that, especially when it comes to resolutions. There are two different amendments brought before council during the 20-minute discussion for who's going to replace Mayor Fenske. That's not exactly normal, is it?
I don't really know what's normal, what's not, I guess. But I can say that for the two amended motions brought forth for the one resolution, I wasn't sure, and that's why I asked administration for support, how many times you can put forth a motion to amend a resolution. So I was told that as many times as council is willing to allow them to come forth, then you can continue to have resolutions amended by a motion. The motions are undebatable when they come forth, and then after the second one, I went to the original resolution and asked for the vote at that time.
The other hot button issue, which was as controversial, it seemed, as the Grant and Lieu Committee, was the purchase of a tandem gravel truck. Now, there seemed to be some question as to whether the purchase went through Public Works before going to council. Could you maybe clarify what the process is when it comes to the city making major purchases, like the new truck?
Absolutely. So, I guess from a council's process is when we buy big purchase items or capital projects, it's a part of our budget and financial plan. So those discussions start, usually we start meeting, I think, the last week of October, the beginning of November. So each department brings forth almost like a wish list with backup material and supporting documents on why they would want to buy, if it was a new dump truck or a new Zamboni, whatever it may be from what department. So we as council sit and go through that process and go through the capital purchases and the capital projects, which gets us to our financial plan and our budget that has to be submitted to the province. So the process for this gravel truck and for the rest of our capital purchases, which are a part of this financial plan and budget, followed the proper process and was done. And we discussed it before, and there was maybe some discussion. It was a consensus of council to make it a part of this financial plan. So it shouldn't have been a 20-minute discussion or whatever it ended up being.
Moving on from council last week, this was part of it, but it's not really debated much. I believe the city will be shortly hiring a screening officer, which means the Bylaw Enforcement Act enabling bylaw is going to be reality soon here in Thompson. Is there any update on when that new system will be in place?
I don't know the date when the new system will start, but I do know that they are in the process, or it is finalized. I believe that screening officer person has been hired, or they were right at the interview or the hiring process. I do know that, but I don't know the exact date. But we will obviously communicate that to press release and media once we know.
And finally, the last thing from council, what are your thoughts on the city's budget and financial plan? I know you were a bit vocal there, saying you're in support of it and you were very happy with the public input. And maybe how can the public be more involved next year? Yeah,
absolutely. I think that last council meeting, we had the second and third reading of the financial plan. So, and then the council meeting before that was the first reading. So, the first reading was unanimously passed by all of council. Unfortunately, 14 days later, it wasn't. So, as a council, and I feel that we did a good job this winter as working through the meetings and going through the process to get to the 1.19% residential mill rate increase. What I spoke about was that we tried as a council to try and have the public be a more part of it. And in the ways of, we had a public presentation to get input from the public. I believe it was only about a dozen people, I think, that showed up for it, and that was in the fall when we were just going to start our budget meetings. And then we also had a survey for the public that ran last week in November, month of December, to be turned in and ended, I think, the second week of January. And that, I think, probably had about 40 to 50 responses approximately. So we tried very hard to try two new different things to get the public involved. It was a start. I think it wasn't overly receptive from the public. So my comments were that I hope that next year this council will still try to reach out to the public, and that it would still be an important part for us to reach out. And I'm hoping that the public will give back also and take part in the public presentations and the survey that we do put forth, because it's your city, so we need the input. And we also meet with our employees. So on the Thursday before council and before the public financial plan presentation, we do meet with our employees in the morning and in the afternoon, and we do present to them first before we give it to the public.
Finally, moving on totally from council last Monday to the fun topic of road maintenance. Mayor Fenske said last week on City Beat that the city has 2 crews working to fix the potholes that seem to be sprouting faster than anything possibly could sprout. They worked through the weekend last weekend. Is that going to be the case again this weekend?
Yeah, they are, obviously potholes are a big issue. I mean, they're just as bad on my street as they are on your street. So we still have 2 crews working all the time on them, a day shift and an afternoon shift. It is getting to be a little bit better now that the roads are starting to dry up a little bit, because the melt and the runoff is easing up a little bit on us. So that should help, because it was just becoming a continuous circle of filling them, and then they would pop out, I guess, by the morning time. So we were on a continuous same potholes over and over, but that should start to be a little bit better as we see a little bit more of a dry up coming up.
I understand street sweeping has started now, that it seems anyway. The warmer weather is here to stay, though it could have fooled me today.
I know it's cold this morning. But yeah, we started street sweeping and a little bit of boulevard sweeping also, for whatever boulevard doesn't have any snow. So that is starting. We're still moving ahead with spring cleanup month, even though we still have snow and we still have spring, and it's a terrible time. Like, really, everything looks dirty and yucky because we're in still a freeze and thaw state. So we have moved forward with spring cleanup month. My one safety share would be that when we do street sweep and we do the boulevards, it's very, very dusty with that machinery. So we do ask kids on bikes, pedestrians, all of us driving, to be aware of that and stay proper distance behind the equipment, because it's hard to see with the dust flying.
Finally, what's the status of snow removal? I know I saw a small bobcat removing some snow from the grass the past few days from behind my apartment into a city truck.
So we went from potholes to snow removal all in one sentence. That's crazy, eh? Only in Thompson. No, and street sweeping. So some of the snow removal still needs to be removed, as we still have some of the, what are the drains called that are freezing up, or the storm drains. Yeah. So there'll still be some areas where they're removing the snow just to help with where the melt is, to help with the drainage, to help with the potholes. It's a vicious circle.
Moving on to a much happier topic, Volunteer of the Year. That was last Thursday. The reception and the award was given to Joan Dawson, who's the Volunteer of the Year for the City of Thompson. The hospital gift shop, over 1,000 hours since 2008. That's a lot of time.
Joan Dawson, she's a great volunteer in our community. I know Joan personally, and yes, she is. She's like the symbol of the Thompson Hospital gift shop. She's been there for a long, long time. I had the opportunity to speak at their hospital auxiliary meeting last year, actually in the spring when it was hosted here. And she's very well respected and a very, very good volunteer in our city. She's a long-time retired teacher, so a lot of us know her within the community also for doing that. So, yeah, congratulations to Joan. She deserved it.
I believe you have an update from the city regarding the Norplex pool.
I absolutely do have an update for everybody. I have a press release that I would like to read on behalf of Mayor Fenske, and this is a press release that will go out officially this afternoon, and it just worked out well that I was going to be here this morning, so we'll take advantage of you guys, and I'm actually going to read it officially, if that's okay.
Yep.
So this is regarding the Norplex pool, and it'll be our reopening date that we will be announcing on May 8th, and to quickly read the press release, it says the following. Following the events of April 23rd, the Norplex Pool is scheduled to open to the public on Monday, the May 8th of 2017. Norplex Pool programming will resume as normal, with the exception that the facility will be closing an hour early every evening for the first week from May 9th to the 14th. Immediately following the incident, the Norplex Pool was closed and investigations were undertaken by multiple agencies, including the RCMP, Manitoba Public Health, and the City of Thompson. An inspection conducted on April 29th by Manitoba Public Health has cleared the facility for reopening as per Manitoba Regulation Number 132-97. As the City of Thompson continues its investigation into the incident, City Mayor Dennis Fenske states that the pool is prepared to resume operations safely. Safety is paramount for the City of Thompson, for the families that use our facilities, as well as the employees who serve them, says Fenske. We have full confidence in our facilities and our staff. So you'll see that media release go out this afternoon to all pertinent places.
And I also believe you have information on a meeting for cottage lots at Paint Lake.
I do. We have so much going on these days. It's just great. So on May 9th, we also have a cottage lot development meeting at 6 p.m. at the VRCC. So one of the things this council, City of Thompson, is looking at is expanding the cottage lot development that will be part of the Paint Lake area. So we're working with the province of Manitoba, and we're looking to explore new opportunities for cottage lots in that area. We need public interest, and we need people to show up, because the more public interest that we can show is there, then we have more of a case to continue to work in partnership with the province of Manitoba to make this happen. So all you people that have an interest or an opinion or have something you'd like to say about it, we really need you there. Cottage lot development meeting, and that's May 9th at the VRCC at 6 o'clock. Following that, on May 16th, we are also continuing our look at developing north of the Brentwood River for acreage lots. There seems to have an interest for that, and we did say that was something that this council would look at. So we're moving forward with that. So the acreage development information session is going to be on May 16th at the VRCC at 6 p.m., and that's for opportunities to develop larger lots north of the Brentwood River. So two really important things. I think they're great things. We're looking and we're trying as a council, and we're trying new things, so we would really like the public and people who are interested to please take part in those if you could, please.
And then did you have anything else you wanted to share from City Hall?
I do. I got lots to say. So a couple things. First off, congratulations to Relay Life. Huge success in our city again, once again. I also had the opportunity to open the new chemotherapy unit yesterday, which was great. It kind of went hands in hand with Volunteer Award Week and the Relay for Life and Cancer. So it's a beautiful facility, and it's good to have a better quality of care for people fighting cancer within our community and our region. I also took part last night in the Knights of Columbus. For you new people within our city here in this room, that was a big deal. Westwood won, but everybody did really, really good. Love going down there. It was very well attended. Thank you to the Knights of Columbus and to the school district and all the volunteers that put that on. Absolutely great job. The other thing I want to talk about, obviously, that you haven't brought up is the CHTM trade show, which is going on this weekend. So, pretty quiet around here this morning. Everybody's down at the VRCC. But the City of Thompson is going to have a booth there. So we'll have lots of information about upcoming sessions and information about the city. So we're very proud to be able to have a booth as part of your CHTM trade show. And just to touch also the Manitoba Games, just to give you an update on that. The Manitoba Games host committee is really rolling and going here, and they're going to have a booth down at the trade show also. So we would really like people to take a moment to stop there also to see where they might be able to look at volunteering and helping a hand as we get close to finalizing all the details, where we really start pounding the pavement for volunteers. And the host tour for the provincial Manitoba Games Committee is going to be here in the city the end of May, but they are right on track to get everything rolling for that. Another thing that our rec facilities, we have transitioned from winter, so our ice is out in the arenas, and we are now, you can look for our summer programming events coming up, our camps and stuff. You can keep an eye on that on our website. And the very, very last thing I need to say is stay off of our ice, stay off of our Brentwood River, people. Kids, don't be playing down there. You're on your bikes. Please pay attention to that. It's very, very dangerous.
And finally, one more thing. City Council is coming up on Monday.
Monday, 7 o'clock, as always, City Hall, City Council chambers. You guys will be there.
I'll be there. That's all the time we have for this edition of City Beat. Thanks again to my guest, Deputy Mayor Kathy Valentino.
Thanks. Have a good weekend, you guys.
If you have a question you'd like answered next week, email it in advance to CHTMnews@arcticradio.ca. For 1029 CHTM, I'm Stuart Walter.
City Beat will be back next Thursday morning at 11:30 with more news about Thompson. Only on 1029 CHTM, your radio station.